It's a decision we have to make every time we skim through the grocery store aisle for sun protectant, sunscreen, or sunblock. Is there a real difference between the two, and is one option better than the other? Well, my next guest says it really depends on your needs. Phil Cowley is the pharmacist behind the popular page Phil's My Pharmacist, and he's here today to fill us in. So do you think people are kind of clueless when it comes to sun protection and the difference?
Yeah, I think they like brands. And I always tell everybody, think of them like an ex-boyfriend. Do you want to block them or just screen them a little bit? So there's a little bit of a difference there. So with a sunblock, there's two types.
Okay.
It's either zinc or titanium. If you look on the back, if it's zinc or titanium, it's a sunblock. And what that does is it takes the sun rays and it shoots it off into nowhere, right? No heat, nothing's absorbed at all.
Nothing's getting in.
Nothing at all. Where with the sunscreen, what it does is there's two or three. There's a benzoin, there's avobenzone, oxybenzone, and then there's salicylates.
Okay.
And they take the sun's rays and they put them, and they just absorb them. It's not a big deal. It's just gone. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
The problem with that is when they absorb it, the heat still gets in.
Okay.
So we've blocked, it has to have avobenzone to block the UVA rays. So it always has avobenzone, and it can block the UVB rays, whereas the sunblocks block everything. But these ones, because they just absorb, all of your sunscreens just absorb them, you still get to have some side effects of what's going on in there.
Oh, that turned into a ball.
Yeah, it turns it, and that's what it does. It takes the sun rays, balls it up inside the chemical, and away we go. So.
Okay, and physically, how is that different on our skin? I understand one's really thinner than another.
So if we look at Ken here, so Ken's got a nice tan to him. I'm guessing it's probably artificial.
I mean, that's a good guess.
I mean, it's pretty even, you know. He's not got any sunspots. So if we look at it, when you have a sunblock, sunblocks are always the ones that make you nice, white, and pasty. And there are some new ones where they'll put a little bit of iron in them, so they'll tint them with a little bit of iron.
That's
But when you put it on, just like Ken here, it ends up being white and pasty on you.
I hardly ever see anyone using this anymore then, I feel like.
Well, if you're
maybe on a nose.
If you're a 50-year-old guy like me, you don't care.
Okay.
So you're not trying to impress anybody, you know? But part of the reason why women don't like it in particular, and teenagers, is because it's usually a little thicker. And it'll clog up your pores.
That's
so now
not
you
good.
get to choose between putting on
acne
more often.
or
right.
Yeah.
And I don't have it, I mean, I don't know. First, they don't want to be sunburned, but then they don't want acne. I always lose. So when you...
So the block's going to look like this, but could clog your pores.
Right. And then when you look at the sunscreens, you put it into the lipid phase of the base. And that means I can get it a lot thinner, and you won't see it nearly as much, and it comes off a lot easier. But you got to put it on every 40 minutes.
No one is doing that.
Nobody does it.
Every
With the
40
sunblocks, especially your little kids, especially your little kids, sunblocks are safer for little kids. It's actually rated to go down to babies. Babies will always have sunblock.
Okay, but if you're older and you remember to put it on more often, you could go with the sunscreen.
So it depends on where you want. The sunblocks actually last up to 2 hours.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Now, also you were saying there's something with melasma regarding the difference of these two.
So melasma is actually actuated by the heat, not by the sun.
So some people might not know what melasma is. Someone actually asked in our meeting. It's kind of like a discoloration of your skin.
They call it a pregnancy mustache.
Yeah.
So a lot of women get it right across their lips, around their mouth, and it takes all of that pigment and it conglomerates it. It gets it all together.
And so that can be a problem if you're going to use sunblock.
Right. So if you have a propensity to have melasma, you want a block.
Oh, you want a block.
Because a block will block the heat and the sun.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, and the heat and the sun itself, yeah. Whereas the sunscreen, you're still getting all of the heat.
Okay, that's good to know.
It gets a little tricky. And also, if you're little ones, you want to use the sunblocks more often because they're gonna rub it off, they're gonna get it in the water.
Slather this stuff on the kids.
Yeah, they should be running around there looking like they've been chalked up all the time, so.
Okay, I love that. Now, so we can do all this and we do our best to try to, keep the sun off of our skin. We know it's not good for it, but inevitably someone's gonna get sunburned.
Always. It doesn't matter. And sometimes it's like I put it on 12 times and I still got sunburned.
Yeah, and so you have something for that too.
Yeah, so everybody loves aloe. The reason why you want aloe on a sunburn is because aloe has two components. The first thing is in aloe, there's a protease. A protease is the thing that eats protein. So the dead skin that sooner or later you peel off like a lizard, that will start to eat it a little quicker, and that makes it so your skin can heal faster.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Dead skin always dries. When it dries, it pulls on that lower layer, and so it's always ripping it apart. So that's part of what aloe does.
Oh, I just always thought it was the cooling, but okay, it's actually helping our skin heal faster, okay.
Aloe does have a component where it'll help keep moisture next to that skin, but you've already killed that top layer. You can't fix a burn once you burn, you're just trying to process it faster. Aloe also reduces inflammation. But the other part to this stuff that I really like is it's got lidocaine. Lidocaine numbs it,
a little bit.
But it's even better. It increases blood flow. Lidocaine is one of the best topical vasodilators there is. So you get more blood flow to a wound.
Again, more healing.
More healing faster.
Well, that's a good thing to have.
But let's make it even better. So hydrocortisone reduces inflammation.
Okay.
When you burn yourself, you get inflammation. So if you take hydrocortisone cream, it's got to be the cream. You add a little bit of that and then match it with the same amount of aloe vera that you've got.
Just equal parts.
And then you mix those two together, you're going to see the reduction of inflammation. You get all the aloe, the lidocaine, and you get the hydrocortisone to reduce the inflammation, so you'll get better even faster.
Do we have to have one of those cool mixing?
You've got to have one of these. They're hard to find. So you've got to have, it's a special tool only for pharmacists.
Okay.
Now, anything will do.
And then finally you have something for our scalp.
So,
I mean, you got good hair, I got a lot of hair. Are this just for bald people, or is it we're talking about in the parts?
So it's interesting because menopause. A lot of hair thinning with the menopause.
Thinning, yeah.
And so 13% of all skin cancers happen on the top of the head.
Okay.
And they're not usually bald guys. Bald guys know better than going out. You do it one time and they're not doing it again. They've learned their lesson.
So what are we doing?
So you can get the Hawaiian Tropic and some others already come out with some zinc that comes in a powder form, and they put it in a silica base, which is really great. But a lot of people already have something they're using, either a dry shampoo or a filler like this. If you have a dry shampoo, which is mostly just cornstarch.
Is that true?
Yeah, go look at the back. It's cornstarch, which is great. It's fine. Or if you have something like this that's made out of keratin, all you have to do is get some zinc oxide powder. And the zinc oxide powder is just, you can find it on Amazon, and you match it half of whatever you're using already with the zinc oxide.
So then you just always have some protection.
Because there's a lot of women that already have something they're putting in their hair that they love. So instead of buying all new products, all I do is just get a $7 bag of zinc oxide and mix it half and half, and it'll smear in there just fine. Everything that's in these products already will help the zinc go where it needs to go.
What a great tip. Okay, for more tips like this, to find you, where do we find you online?
Phil's my pharmacist on all the places.
Phil's my pharmacist.
And then I'm also up in Cache Valley, so if anybody's ever bored, come up and visit. We're cooler up there than here. So.
Stop by, see him in the flesh. Maybe he'll be wearing the helmet.
I certainly probably will be.
Thanks, Phil. Appreciate you.